Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaraachaarya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. त्रैलोक्यनाथ हरिमीड्यमुदार सत्वं शक्तेस्तनूजतनयं परमेष्ठिकल्पं जीमूतमुक्तविमलाम्बरचारुवर्णं वासिष्ठमुग्रतपसं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्. So we were looking at the different interpretations of the Tattvamasi Vakya and how the Guru is negating them. The major interpretations are given, I think, somewhere around verse 50, correct? So the four interpretations are, one is it is a upasana vidhi, correct? You have to do visualization that aham brahmasmi, or it is a praise, like somebody is giving you something, you receive that and praise them that you are Indra, you are Chandra, etc. You are God. Like this, people do praise others. So here, to make the jiva feel good, it is praised that you are Brahman. That's all. Or it is a figurative usage, like you say that somebody is a lion because he is also fearless like a lion. So there is some similarity in guna. Therefore, it is called a gauna prayoga, or figurative usage. Or the other one is the Brahman itself has become jiva. Why should you say jiva is Brahman? It is the other way around. Brahman created the world and became the jiva, and it is suffering now. This also can be an interpretation. Okay. For Tattvamasi, you reverse the identity. So like this, four were given. The Guru has taken the first one seriously and trying to show that the main difference, there is a vilakshanata between Tattvamasi and the other vakyas. The student has quoted vakyas like Mano Brahmeti Upasita. Okay, so there are many vakyas like this in different Upanishads. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad has a lot of Saguna Brahma Upasana. Chandogya also has like this. So in all this Upasana Paravakya, Iti and Upasita, two extra words are there. Understand that. Iti means thus, or in this manner. Upasita means you have to do the Upasana. That is the Vidhi actually. You have to visualize, you have to meditate that mind is Brahman. It is not just mind is Brahman, correct? So when a Vakya like this is there, there are two extra words which are not found in Tattvamasi. So the teacher is first pointing out the vilakshanata, or the difference between the Upasana Paravakya and Tattvamasi itself. So those two words are not there. Therefore, you cannot say this is a Upasana Vidhi. Having shown this, the student comes back and says that, okay, there is no Upasana Vidhi, fine. But still, even the Upasana itself is there because the Upasana is based on a certain Karana Karya relationship between Brahman and Manas. So how can we even do Upasana that Manas is Brahman, or Aditya is Brahman, or Akasha is Brahman, all these things, because these Upasanas are all based on the Karana Vidhi. Okay, Karana Drishti. Basically, you have to see in the Karya, you have to see the Karana. That is the Upasana there. And according to the Advaitin himself, a sentence like mind is Brahman, if you say, or it is like saying pot is clay or snake is rope. Okay. So these kinds of appositional sentences where something is something else, correct? A is B. When you say, it is like saying actor is some actor name, Bachchan. Okay, Amitabh Bachchan is a famous actor in India. So you say that, or you have to say, sorry, we used to say the other way around. My Guruji used to say B is A always. B means a beggar. There is a drama and an actor is acting as a beggar. Okay. So the beggar character, the beggar role has no existence if the actor is not there, correct? Actor has to be there. So we have to say beggar is actor, but actor is not beggar. Okay. Actor is really a millionaire. By acting as a beggar only, this fellow has become a millionaire. Okay. So B is A, but A is not B. That is the inequality we have to understand really. That is the essence of Vedanta, is that really. So when we say mind is Brahman or Aditya Devata is Brahman, whichever Devata, lot of Devatas are to be visualized, or they have to be done Upasana on as Brahman. Whenever we say that, the student is saying one is Karya and Brahman is Karana. And in this kind of appositional usage, the Karya becomes Mithya. Is that clear? Karana alone is Satyam. This is called Badhayam Samanadhikaranya generally. Means it is negational apposition, you can say in English. Because one thing is negated. When you say snake is rope, there is no real snake, correct? Only the rope's reality is revealed, and the reality or the existence of snake is negated. Pot is clay also is similar, because pot has no real existence. Understand that. Pot is only a name and form. A name and form cannot exist by itself. The substance alone really exists. Name and form is only a superimposition. And in fact, you need not even see the name and form when you are only seeing the substance. So in the clayness, inherently there is no partness. Understand that. In your understanding of clayness, there is no partness or plateness or any other name and form. Similarly, in your understanding of goldness, none of the jewelryness is there. Is that clear? In fact, the one who is not familiar with the name and form may not even see it or know it. They only see the substance. So these kinds of statements deny the existence or the independent existence of the name and form, and only reveal the actual existence of the substance. Now, why cannot Tattvamasi be like that? So the student is now bringing another important question. So Jiva now becomes Mithya, but that is not Ishta for the Advaita. Understand that. We say that Jiva and Brahman are identical. It's not that Jiva is Mithya. So for this, the Advaitin comes back and says, in the case of Manas, Aditya, Akasha, etc., there are explicit statements in the Shruti, because there is a Shrishti Prakriya is there, correct? Creation is taught. And in the Vakyas which reveal the creation, all these things are revealed as being Karya of Brahman, because Brahman alone was there. Sadeva Soumya Idam Agre Asit. So in the beginning, Brahman alone was there. When there was no name and form also, Brahman alone was there as just existence. And from that, everything has come. Okay. Tasmad etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhuta. Akasha came from this Atma. Like this, different things have been shown as originated or from Brahman. They have all come from this Brahman, all the names and forms. Therefore, there is a Karana Karya Sambandha you can establish, and then say that Karya is Mithya. In fact, we use the Karana Karya Prakriya for that, to account for the appearance of the world. and show the world itself is mithya. But in this case, there are no vakyas which show that Jiva is the Karya of Brahman. Jiva is not a, because normally a Karya is a Vikriti, okay, or a Vikara of the Karana, we have to say. It is a modification of the Karana, or it is an Amsha, it is a part. Now, Jiva cannot be established as either a part or a modification of Param Brahma. In fact, the closest the Purva Pakshis come to this is there is a Vispulinga is used as an analogy in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Spark Vedanta, my Guruji used to call it. So there the individuals are talked about as sparks which have come from a very big flame. But there also the teaching is that spark also is fire only, correct? A flame, big flame also is fire, spark also is fire. In fact, the Tattvamasi Vakya itself is an equation between you and Ishvara. Clear? Who is Jagat Karanam? Because their Tat is actually Jagat Karanam Brahma. And you are the individual. When we equate like that, it is an any equation has to be apparently different. Otherwise, there is no point in having an equation. Understand that. So you don't give an equation 1 equal to 1, A equal to A, like that. It is meaningless, correct? You don't even have to teach that then. An equation has to be, in fact, apparently different, and the identity has to be arrived at. That's why we derive, correct? All our mathematics and physics and all that, we basically arrive at the identity. You have to solve the left hand side, solve the right hand side, and then only you can arrive at the identity. Here also Vedanta is nothing but solving this equation. The Mahavakya is really an equation. And how do we solve it? Simply give up all the contradicting qualities. Because when you say the individual is having small knowledge, small power, everything is small with reference to the individual. That's why, in fact, you are not able to accept yourself as an individual. Understand that your individuality itself is transient. It comes and goes. It is not of the same form always. In the waking alone, you are so and so. You have some personality, correct? In dream, your individuality itself varies. You can become somebody else in the dream. In deep sleep, there is no individuality. Individuality is not cognized. So understand that your very individuality is a transient attribute which comes and goes. You are in reality a conscious being. And Shruti comes and says this same conscious being is the Jagat Karanam Brahma also. It is the limitless conscious being in whom the space-time itself is appearing. But due to some delusion, you yourself become a participant within this appearance, correct? In space-time, you take yourself as a particular individual. Like even in your own dream world, you become an individual. Then you see a tiger and start running. And you are running, desperately running. And tiger also is running. Tiger does not stop. You climb up a tree, tiger also is trying to climb up the tree. And now the tiger has come very near you. Then you jump from the tree and break your leg and wake up. Okay, let us say. So the tiger has finally managed to wake you up. It is a nightmare, no doubt. But at least you wake up and see, okay, it is all dream. It's not true. Okay, it's all only my own projection. The entire space-time tiger, whoever you were in the dream, all the forest, trees, rivers, everything is only a projection. It looks so real when you are experiencing it. Like that, understand that In fact, Vedanta is so simple. Okay, it's not at all a very complicated topic. It's so simple that it becomes, people want something very complicated, I think. They all want something mystic and desperately thinking that, also they all start with an idea that somehow to understand Vedanta is not easy, or only great saints and the mystics can understand and all that. It's not like that. In fact, Vedanta is very, very simple. The only thing you have to focus on is, I am not whatever I am cognizing. Clear? I am not what I know. Anything you know as an object is not I, obviously, because you are the subject, correct? The subject can never be the object. Now, this thing is very clear with reference to all the objects until you come to your body. Okay, you have no confusion. You are not the mobile phone. You are not the laptop computer. You are not even your clothes. You are not your spectacles. All that, there is no confusion. But as soon as it comes to the tip of your nose or the tips of your fingers, confusion starts. Why? Because you can, even these are all objects of your cognition, correct? You know your body, but still take it as yourself. Similarly, hunger, thirst, all the physiological activities, you know, it is all, they are all objects of your cognition, but you take it as I. You say, I am thirsty, I am hungry. All your emotions are all again known to you. Whatever is happening in the mind, states of mind are cognized by I. But again, you take all these emotions as yourself and suffer, in fact. That's why my Guruji always used to make a great statement, but you cannot make that statement to somebody who is already in sorrow, okay? But always he used to say that there is a difference between worldly logic and Vedantic logic. What is that difference? The difference is, the worldly people will say, if you know that you are suffering, then you are suffering, correct? I know I am suffering. I know my suffering, therefore I am the sufferer. That is the worldly logic. But what is the Vedantic logic? I know my suffering, therefore I am not the sufferer. Suffering has got nothing to do with me because it is an object of knowledge. It is an object of cognition, and whatever I know is not I. But the difficulty in this knowledge is that, are you able to hold on to this? Holding on to is the problem. That's why this sadhana and all that, it has to become, see, right now, sahaja or natural to use that. Taking yourself as the body, mind, sense complex is natural. It is naisargika. Bhashyakara also says that. In the Adhyasa Bhasha, he says it is natural. Something which is, you did not, you are not taught all these things. You have taken yourself, it is avichara siddha, but it is natural. Overcoming this natural tendency is all you have to do. Because the logic is very clear. Whatever I know is not I. Keep this always. Hold on to this. And then, instead of taking yourself as your body, mind, sense complex, you have to now reorient yourself, in fact, correct? That is the self-transformation we are talking about. Reorient your very identity, that I am this limitless conscious being, nothing else. Then it's easy, it's correct. Even though this individuality may continue, it is not, you are not taking it as real. Individuality is only a transient thing. You have taken up this individuality even in waking. It's like the individuality you have taken in sleep. It doesn't matter anyway. Sorry, during the dream. Okay, so your reality is, I am this limitless conscious being. And once you have reoriented your self-identity, that is the freedom, that is moksha. There is no question of any suffering. any kind of limitation which can affect you. In fact, the world can never touch you because none of the objects of knowledge can touch the subject who is of a different order of reality. In fact, all the whatever you cognize, whatever you know is all mithya. That is the Vedantic Anumana also is what? Anything you know, correct? Ghataha mithya, Jagan mithya. Why? Drishyatvat, because it is an object of knowledge. Any object of knowledge keeps on changing. But the invariable in each and every cognition is yourself. Is that clear? In the form of consciousness is. Every cognition can be understood like this, correct? Pot is means pot consciousness is. Clay is clay consciousness is. Table is table consciousness is. Orange fruit is means orange fruit consciousness is. Apple consciousness is. In all these things, the name and forms keep on changing in each and every cognition, correct? But what is unchanging, invariable? Consciousness is unchanging, invariable. That is you, in fact. You are that consciousness which is unchanging, which never leaves you. In fact, whatever never leaves you, whatever can never go away, that alone is your very nature. You are always this conscious being, whether you know something or not. That's why even in deep sleep, if you don't know anything also, you are always there as the conscious being. And when you get up, you can always say, I did not know anything, I slept well. So this conscious being alone is yourself. So even the Vedantic meditation is what? It is about meditating on the meditator. Understand that. The student of Vedanta is not interested in meditating on something else. Of course, to improve your concentration, focus and all that, you can meditate on any object or even some flame, and there are so many techniques available, correct? Some mantra, and you may gain some powers and all that also by doing all that. Mind is incredibly powerful, no doubt about that. We are not even using a small percentage of our capabilities. The mental capabilities of each and everyone is tremendous. But the Vedantic student is not interested in all that. Our meditation is to know the meditator. What is the nature of this meditator? Just rest there. That is the Vedantic meditation is always about the meditator. Who is this meditator? And that's what you have to know. Anyway, coming back to the text. So the Guru showed the Vilakshanata between the Vidyavakya, but student has come back saying that then what if the Jiva is Mithya? Because it is like saying snake is rope. But then Guru shows that, see, in all other cases, it is clearly shown that there is a Karana Karya Sambandha. But in the case of Jiva, there is nothing like that. In fact, the Srishti is talked about, and then it is said that Brahman itself entered. Anena Jivena Anupravishya, like that. So Brahman alone entered this Srishti as the Jiva. So there is no question of Jiva being negated by Tattvamasi. So that cannot be the interpretation. So the Avibhakta Vibhakti, that's what he said. I think 66, 67, up to 67 we have already seen. So in the 67, basically the Guru is summarizing, even though the Vibhakti, the case and number, correct? Prathama Ekavachanam. Tat also is Prathama Ekavachanam. Som also is Prathama Ekavachanam. Both of them are in same case, same number, means they are appositional. But still, one does not negate the other. Okay? Like this, we can take that. And also further, It is also like not like saying that water is salt, because some Dvaitins say that the Jivatma is in Paramatma. Paramatma is all pervading, no doubt. So like even in a salt solution, water is all pervading, but salt also is there. It may look like one and the same. Only when you drink, you know it is salty. You go. In fact, they give all this brine solution or salt water to make people. Somebody has eaten something they are not supposed to eat, means they have to vomit it out, means they give a lot of salt water. But it looks like normal water only. So it's not like salt in a solution also. Even that much of difference we cannot take. That's why here you can see, he says that the managapi deha britaha na asti, he says, vilakshanata. So there is no difference between Paramatma and the Sharira Brit, or the one who is supporting this body, or one who is the Shariri, correct? One who is in the body and the Paramatma, between them there is no difference. Not even a very, very small difference. Managapi means Ishadapi. Even a very little bit, Anumatramapi, in fact, we can say, even at not even an atomic level, difference is there. There is no Vilakshanata. Managapi deha britaha asti. Okay. Why? Because the Jiva is not a Paramatma Vikara. Jiva is not a modification of Paramatma, nor Jiva is a Amsha or a part of Paramatma. So that Nirakaranam we have done, and therefore there is not even a small bit of difference between Jivatma and Paramatma. Now, student comes back. What does the student say now? Nanu Jiva Satoranumatramapi Swagatam na Visheshanamasti yada Vadatatvamasi tada vachanam Kimuvakti tataishata ityapicha. So now this is again a very, very favorite argument of the Dvaitins. Okay. So the student is asking here, okay, you say that there is not even Anumatram means what? Even at the level, atomic level, okay, also difference is not there. Jiva and Sadvastu, which is Paramatma. So between the Jivatma and Paramatma, not even an atom or whatever, nano level also, there is no difference. Very, very small difference also is not there. Because Upanishad itself says, Neha nanasti kinchana Udara mantaram kurute atatasya bhayam bhavati. All these things are there. Even if you make a very small division between yourself and Brahman, then bhayam, fear. Because once the second thing is there, dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati. If second thing is there, then fear only. So you say that there is no difference. Then what is the use of Vakyas like Tattvamasi? Because you are already identical, correct? If Jiva is already identical with Brahman, what is the use of this statement? It is useless. Tattvamasi teaching need not be there because you are already Brahman. Why should the Shruti come and teach you? So the student is now asking, Vada, tell me what? Tattvamasi iti tada vachanam kimu vakti. Why the Shruti is saying Tattvamasi, this Vakya? Okay. And also there is another Vakya in Brihadaranyaka. Yeshata Atma Antaryami Amritaha. So your Atma is Antaryami Amrita, immortal, the one who is indwelling in all bodies. Is Sakshad Aparokshad Brahma. Ya Atma Sarvantaratma. All these words are all there. Beautiful section in Brihadaranyaka. So all these vakyas are useless. Why? Because you are already Brahman. Why should the Shruti come and say this? So Shastra Anarthakyam, in Sanskritam it is called, this argument is called Shastra Anarthakyam. Means what? Shastra becomes anartha, or useless or meaningless. There is no meaning. Why should this be taught? You are already Brahman. Then why should the Shruti say this? Now Guru is answering this very interestingly. He says that, okay, let us assume that there is difference. Okay. Then can the words come and negate that in any manner? Shruti's revelation, because if you say only if there is some difference, there can be teaching that the teaching like Tattvamasi can be there. But if really there is some difference, that difference will never go away, correct? Just by somebody saying Tattvamasi or some words being there, will any real difference vanish? Can it go away? So first the Guru is pointing this out. Okay, so he says, Swagatam yedi bedakam ishtam abhut anumatram apishvara deha bhritaha apanetum ashakyam ado vachanaihi amunasya prithakva nishedha paraihi. So very beautiful. So here says Swagatam. So Swagatam means in its own swarupa, in its very nature. Yedi bedakam ishtam. So if you want some division, correct, some Veda, what anumatram, let it be very, very small difference. Okay, but you want some Veda, some division, some difference between Ishvara and Dehabrit. Okay, Ishvara Dehabritaha, between the Shariri, the one who is indwelling the body, mind, sense complex, and Ishvara. If you want to have some difference in the in the idea that then only the teaching becomes meaningful. Now tell me, how can all this teaching or these words remove this difference? If there is some real difference, just coming and saying there is no difference is not going to make any difference. In fact, it will not remove the difference, correct? Prithakva nishedha. If you say that now the Tattvamasi is coming and doing nishedha of the prithakva, means the difference between Jivatma and Paramatma, it will not be able to remove that. Apanetum ashakyam, he says. It cannot remove it or make it vanish suddenly. Just because the words have revealed that, the difference will not go. If the difference is swagata, means what? It is in somebody's very nature, correct? If it is really there, the difference cannot go away just because the words, even if it is the words of the Veda. You may hold the Veda in a very high position, correct? You may give it the status of a means of knowledge, but any means of knowledge, understand, according to the Vedantin, any means of knowledge only reveals facts. It cannot reveal anything other than that. It has to be Vastu Tantra. Any Pramana has to be Vastu Tantra, means what? Any means of knowledge has to reveal in keeping with the object itself, correct? The reality of the object, the nature of the object, it has to reveal. Then only it's really a Pramana. Any knowledge, in fact, has to reveal the object as it is. And revealing does not negate anything about the object. Understand that. The Pramana itself is only shining the light on something. There is a dark room, so many objects are there. You are not able to see anything. That is the ignorant state. Then you shine a light on that, then eyes are revealing so many objects. But eyes only reveal whatever is there. It cannot come and say, no, apple is orange. It cannot say that, correct? It cannot say that there is no difference between orange and apple, etc. That is the function. The function of the means of knowledge is not to alter anything or make something vanish or anything like that. It is simply revealing whatever is there. It cannot make, if the separation is there between Jivatma and Paramatma, really, words alone cannot make it go away. Is that clear? That is the first argument he is making. Further, he says why it is so. Even let us say a student asks, why cannot the words make it go away? Okay. Veda, the words of the Veda are so powerful. It can make people do things. In fact, that is the argument of the Purva Mimamsaka. They say that there is a certain Shakti in the Veda Vakya which make people do things. Since the Veda has said, Veda has given a vidhi, you have to do it then. Like this people take and all that. But even that Bhashyakara doesn't accept. In fact, he says there is only a vidhi chaya. In some places, in fact, he does agree with the different types of vidhi the Purva Mimamsakas propose, correct? They talk about Apurva vidhi. Then there is a Niyama vidhi, Parisankhya vidhi, like that. Different types of vidhi also they talk about. And Bhashyakara does agree in some cases with that. But even finally, but his opinion is what? There cannot be any real vidhi on anything, correct? It is also only revealing facts that if you do this, you will get that. It may still say you have to do it to get that. But that also is really only a fact. Any vidhi also is only a vidhi chaya, he says. It's only a shadow. And it's only still asking you to do. Whether to do or not is up to you, correct? It is all Purusha Tantra. Any karma is Purusha Tantra. But Jnana is always Vastu Tantra. It has to be in keeping with the object of knowledge. So the Pritaktva Nisheda Paraihi Vachanaihi, they cannot, the whatever vachanas, the sentences which are there, which are denying the Pritaktvam, the separateness between Jiva and Paramatma, they cannot really make it go away. If the separation is real, they cannot make it go away. So why? Because he says further, Ihe yasya chayo guna atma gataha swatayeva najatu bhavet parataha vachanena natasya nirakaranam kriyate sa guna sahajastu yataha. So he says, Iha, in this case, if you say that the difference is real, correct? Then the difference has to be based on some attribute or the other, correct? Atma, Jivatma has something, Paramatma has something else. It's all based on some attributes only, some qualities, some guna. Now, if these gunas are swagata, means what? Are of the very nature of Jivatma and Paramatma, let us say, then this, whatever is natural to you does not depend on anything else, correct? If we say sugar is sweet, the sweetness of sugar is its very nature, correct? It does not depend on anything else. Now, if I come and say, no, sugar is bitter, does it make any difference? It cannot make the sweetness go away from the sugar just because you are a diabetic. You say, for you, sugar may be bitter, in fact, but that is also in a different context or different way you have to take the meaning, correct? Because the diabetic may think or has to think sugar is bitter, so I won't take it. It is like that fox one, correct? These sour grape story. These grapes are sour. Although the grapes are nice and sweet, fox is not able to reach it. So it is taking it as sour grapes. Like that. You are a diabetic, you cannot eat the sugar, so you say it is bitter. But it does not make the sugar really bitter. Whatever is something's very nature, it never goes away. In fact, it doesn't depend on anything else also. Correct? Its quality of being sweet is there. That's what makes sugar what it is. And it is not dependent on something else. Why he is saying about this dependent on something else? This is where the Advaita in Siddhanta you have to understand. What is the Advaita in Siddhanta? All differences are upadhikritaha. Correct? Any difference is because of conditioning factors. It is not in its very nature. In their very nature, Jivatma and Paramatma are identical. But then, where does the difference come from? Difference is only due to conditioning factor. The difference is like saying one part space is different from another part space. Correct? In fact, all part spaces are one and the same space only. There is only one space, indivisible. But from the standpoint of one part, you will say this part space is 5 liters, another part space is 7 liters, and then say that this part space is different from that. The difference and all is only with reference to the part, correct? It's only with reference to the conditioning factor. There is no real difference in the space. You cannot divide the space also. So if the difference is only due to conditioning factors, or parataha means something else other than the vastu itself, then it can be negated by words. Is that clear? Only the upadhikrita bheda can be negated by the teaching because it's not real. And people tend to take it as real because there are two spatikas are there, correct? Behind one spatika is a red background. Then you take this crystal as red crystal because it is near a red background. Now another crystal is behind a green background. Then you say that is a green crystal. So this is a ruby, that is an emerald, something like that you say. But in reality, it is neither ruby nor emerald, correct? Both are only some cheap, whatever. Both are spatika, let us say. Spatika also can be cheap. Nowadays, plastic variants are all coming. Even there, it's difficult to find what is real, what is not. But it is a transparent crystal. It has no color. Now you can say both redness and greenness, or you can negate and say that they are only transparent crystal. Why? Because the redness was not really its redness. It is not swagata, correct? It has come from parataha. It has come from the conditioning factor. So you can negate it. Is that clear? Even snake is rope is like that because there is no snakeness in rope, correct? But you saw it. It's only an appearance. So you can negate it. So the negation is only possible if you see a guna from something else on something else. It's all adhyaropa. That is what we call adhyaropa, correct? Any superimposed quality alone can be negated. Is that clear? That's what the Advaitin is trying to arrive at. But so initially he says that whatever qualities, dharma, or the nature of something, it can never be negated by any words. Okay, because its very nature, it is not coming from somewhere else. So that's all he is saying. So swataha eva na jatu bhavet parataha. It is not coming from something else, some other conditioning factor. Therefore, what? Vachanena tasya nirakaranam na kriyate, he says. Vachanena tasya nirakaranam na kriyate. Sa gunaha sahajastu yata. Because it is sahaja, because that guna, that quality is its very nature. It cannot be negated by any vachana or words or any sentence, whether even if it is Shruti Vakya. Is that clear? So even a Shruti Vakya cannot negate something, a quality which is the very nature of something. Therefore, what? In fact, he further says that our Siddhanta is this. What? Vachanam tvavabodhakameva yataha tatayeva na vastu viparyakrit nahi vastu api shabdavashat prakritim prajahatyanavasti anavastiti dosha bhayat. Okay. So this is our final teaching is what? Vachanam tu avabodhakam eva. Means the Shruti Vakyas only reveal facts, only reveal the truth. Correct? They cannot do anything else. Because they only reveal, therefore what? Tataha eva, because of that only, na vastu viparyaya krite, it cannot change the vastu, in fact. Vastu viparyaya means what? Some modification of the object. Shruti only reveals an object as it is. It's not modifying this object. By the very act of revelation, if it starts modifying something, then there cannot be any real knowledge itself, correct? Knowledge itself will become impossible. The very act of knowing, if it changes something, some object and all that, that is not possible. So, na vastu viparyaya krite, Shruti or any vachana, any words as a means of knowledge or any means of knowledge for that matter, any pramana, they are not viparyaya krite, they do not change anything. In fact, by definition, they have to reveal whatever is as it is. Is that clear? Then only they are real means of knowledge. Therefore, what? Nahi vastu api shabda vashat prakritim prasad. Okay, even otherwise, Let us say, okay, sometimes we say there are magical chants, correct? You are coming from Harry Potter world, or even there are many mantrikas, tantrikas and all that. Our land also is famous for all this, all these people. So they can do some mantra and modify something. So why cannot Shruti do something like this? Means we don't accept. We say that Vastu api Shabda Vashat Prakritim na Prajahati. It doesn't give up its nature. If something is the very nature of some object, just because the words are there, it will not give up its very nature. Why? Because Anavastiti Dosha Bhaya. Because it doesn't want to lose its very existence, correct? Because if it becomes something else, then its existence as it is gone. So Anavasthiti means non-existence. It doesn't want to become, in fact, everything, survival instinct is the basic instinct, correct? Basic thing. Things, that is what we call inertia, I think. There is always some inertia, correct? Unless force is applied, something will not change by itself. Words alone cannot come and change something, because everything has a certain inertia. The things want to continue. Status quo, continuation of the status quo is what every system wants, that I think, whether it is bureaucratic system or some other system. So there is Anavastiti Dosha Bhayat. It doesn't want to lose its very own existence. Because of that, the Vastu also, just because there are some Vakyas, some Shabdas, due to the Shabda Vasha means what? The object doesn't come under the spell of the words and then decide that I will change myself. Prakritin Prajahati means it gives up its own very nature. That doesn't happen. So that is the Vedantic Siddhanta. Therefore what? Yata eva mato vishayasya gunam vishayena sahatmani mudhadhiya adhiropitamapsviva bhumi gunam pratishedhati tattvamasiti vachaha. Okay, finally now Guru is saying the Vedantic explanation of Tattvamasi. So he says, this being so, that any vachana cannot really modify anything. It has to only reveal things as it is. So, but then what is the reality of the jiva? This is what so beautifully Bhashyakar also brings about in the Adhyasa Bhashya, correct? Yushmad Ashmad Pratyaya Gocharayoho Vishaya Vishayinoho. Like this only he starts the Adhyasa Bhashya. There is this and I, correct? Yushmat Pratyaya, Asmad, I and this. And they are Vishaya and Vishayi. So this is an object of knowledge. Vishayi is the subject. One is subject, another is object. And they are Tamah Prakashavat Viruddha Swabhava also. This is Jada, I am conscious. Okay. They are totally poles apart, but still the itara bhava anupapatti is there. Logically, if you think, one can never be taken as the other, but it is still there. Okay, one is taken as the other, and also tad dharmanam api, he says. One's quality is taken as the other's qualities. So this is where the adhyasa happens, adhyaropanam, and that is naisargikaha. You cannot ask when did it start, how did it start, why did it start. All those questions are invalid because it is there. It is naturally there. That is why you are suffering as an individual. Right now, your question should not be why, how, where, and all that. You have to get rid of that first. In fact, once you know the truth, you will know that it was never there. Therefore, the questions like why, what, how, and all are irrelevant, because it's like asking why did the snake appear on the rope? Or where did it appear? Once you know it as rope, you know that the snake never appeared, correct? Even while you were seeing, it was not there really. So how can you ask the question why did the snake appear, or where did it appear, or how did it appear, etc. All those questions are irrelevant. So here he says mudhadhiya, because of this delusional mind or delusional intellect. So one Vishayasya gunam vishayena saha atmani. So the Vishaya, the body mind sense complex is Vishaya, object. But you take it as I. And also your guna, you are the consciousness, but you say my body is aware, mind is aware, all that. Correct? Awareness, consciousness is your Atma guna, you can say, or Atma Swarupa, that is superimposed on the body mind sense complex. Then all the qualities of body mind sense complex are superimposed on oneself. I am fat, I am dark, I am white, I am hungry, I am thirsty, I am idiot, I am knowledgeable, I am angry, I am sorrowful, I am sad, all this. I am happy also. I am joyful, I am ecstatic. All these things are only delusional because you have superimposed the Vishaya Dharma or Vishaya Guna on yourself. So both these things are there, correct? The Dharma Dhyasa also is there, and Vishaya itself is taken one as the other. Atasmin tad buddhi, this is what is called. Adhyasa, simply Bhashyakara finally says that Atasmin tad buddhi. Whatever is not there somewhere, you are seeing it there, correct? You are cognizing it there. Atasmin tad buddhi, that is the Adhyasa or Adhiropitam is the word he is using. This Adhyaropitam only is calling it as Adhiropitam also. And he is giving an analogy for that. What? Apsu iva bhumi gunam. Like even there is a solution and you say that it's a very smelly water. But water does not have any smell. Understand that. According to our Nyaya Shastra, only bhumi, gandhavati, prithvi. That's how prithvi or the earth is defined. Earth is the one which has gandha. The quality of smell is the quality or the swarupa of the earth, gandhavati, prithvi. So water has taste but not smell. That's how they define it. So if you say that water has bhumi guna, bhumi's guna is smell, that means something has mixed, correct? It is a solution or whatever. Therefore, the water appears to be having smell. But when you say that the water does not have really smell, then you can negate it, because water really does not have smell. You have wrongly taken it as water is having fragrance or smell, and it can be negated because it's not there really. It has come from something which is there nearby, correct? Like some earth which has dissolved into the water, because of that guna is there. So when you take one's guna as or wrongly you take someone else's guna as yourself, correct? Or on you. One object's guna you see in some other object, that alone can be negated. And Tattvamasi also is doing the same thing. Tattvamasi iti vachaha pratishedhati apsu iva bhumi gunam. So Tattvamasi also is like that. That's why this parataha, whatever has come from somewhere else, correct? That alone can be negated. Swagata, whatever is the one's own very nature, it can never be negated by any vakya, any vachana, etc. Therefore, Tattvamasi is like that. So this is how Tattvamasi teaching becomes meaningful. In fact, this is the only way it can become meaningful. In no other scenario, it will become meaningful. Understand that. If the separation, if the difference is real, it can never go away. But the difference which is cognized is only adhyasika, it is superimposed. Therefore, it can be negated. That is the teaching. The rest of the teaching we will see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.